So let's look into the meaning of the Dhyana Sloka. I'll tell you why this is important, but let's understand the meaning. So Raktambuje Deta Varasanastam is something like the one who is seated on a red lotus placed on a lifeless body, like a preta. What is the hidden meaning of this is the red lotus represents purity in action and spiritual readiness. And the preta symbolizes a conquered ego, lifelessness, and someone who is beneath her. So, closely, if you look at it, means that when we are with our flesh, our blood, and stuff, and life, we are somebody who is filled with ego, attachment, illusions. So, and what here the meaning is, though we are having prana, with ego attachment and illusions, we become equal to a lifeless body because we don't know what is light. So, she is sitting on those lifelessness attributes of ego, attachment, illusions, Maya, asking us to surrender our false identity and surrender to her faith so that she can once for all scoop out all our Arishad Vargas, our false identities, our egos, attachments, desires, which are not aligned with our divine path, so that once she clears all of that, Malinam, we can get aligned ourselves. We become a channel for divine light to flow through us. So when we get her guidance, we will take every action aligned with ourselves. And then Vapkambuje, that is what is the first meaning of the thing. Then Adoru Kamas Puradasanastam. It is like Ardoru Kamas. So she's sitting uh, she's sitting in the Padmasana posture, but it is ready for action. So she's sitting on a very firmly seated, balanced posture, ready to act. It can be like that sitting posture where she's sitting on that lotus. It can mean that she's ready to either destroy, like, because she's a Dandini. She's somebody who holds a staff also. And in case if you're doing something wrong, she's gonna hit us also in a very, very loving way. Sometimes the pain can be there, but it's all for our divine. So how long will we hold on to our own old bad self? So when she tries very cajolingly and still we are not leaving our old step, she uses even harsh methods. Okay. So, but don't be worried. Whatever harsh method she will definitely hold us and ensure we get to the right path. So nothing to worry in her presence. So the sitting posture here is her dynamic readiness for action. Either it's not like she's ready always like sitting relaxed, or she's not very fierce, aggressive. She's at the right posture. Whenever a devotee beckons upon her pleadingly or in pain, she's gonna swiftly act upon. So that sitting posture enables her to do swift actions. And either she protects or she destroys depending on what's good for us. Please remember that. Okay. So she has to destroy our anger, right? Like that's something she destroys while she propels us towards the right direction. Then Damstrola Satpotra Mukhara Vindam. Okay. Damstrola Satpotra Mukhara Vindam. Meaning she has a boar-like face with tusks, which is resembling like a and her face is looking like a blossom lotus, fully blossomed, beautiful, right? So that tusks are the thing which is on her boar face. It is a sign of power and wisdom. The elephants do carry the tusks, right? So The tusk is a reflection of fierce power and wisdom. And the boar is for us to lift. That force is needed for us to lift from the abyss, from the depths of our own ignorance, our own maya. So she uses her boar face and supported by the tusks to fiercely penetrate into ourselves and lift us from our own agony, from our own ignorance, from our own karmic maya, which is not allowing us to lead a life of liberation, or oftentimes forgetting our divine self and getting in and looped into this karmic baggages. Okay. So without our knowledge, as we are doing her japa, she subconsciously pierces and tears apart our fears, illusions, and any karmic baggages. All right. It can be to our own selves, or it can be to our enemies whom we are going through pain because of the other people. To same to both, she's gonna act. That's the reason I said it need not be like she's only in favor to us. In terms of she not ask us only to get a corrective action. She'll also ask the enemies also to get back, because she's gonna complete the karmic loops between us and the enemy who's showing up as giving us pain, because there must be a past baggage which is making the enemy act as enemy in this life, right? She's gonna cleanse that using her tusk and the boar faceness. Then Kotira Sanchinna Himamsu Rekham, meaning her crown shines so brightly like it is outshining the moon. Such a bright um, crown. Meaning here the moon represents the mind, our emotional turbulences, our emotional states, ego-driven thoughts. So she is gonna put light onto our mind and ensure that we get we get more calmer. Moon is like peace, calm. That's what we moon represent, right? So she's gonna cool us down. She's gonna calm us down. She's gonna rationalize our emotional thoughts backed by negativity. She's gonna dissolve the emotional turbulences caused because of past karmic baggages. Okay, she's gonna also clear our ego-driven thoughts. So all of this is gonna cleanse. Why? Because her knowledge is so high that she outshines even more. So she's so bright with wisdom, with knowledge, and she also acts on it. Okay, when a devotee bestows. Halam kapalam dadatim karabhyam. She holds a halam and a, a plow and a skull, so that in her right hands, both of them are for removing the karmic seeds. The plow is needed, like how we dig when we want to put the seed. So similarly, she's gonna uproot our old patterns, and the skull, it's a symbolic representation of freedom from death, or you're gonna die that old self of yourself, or burn that old self of yours, and uh, rebirth yourself into a new you, or you will gonna skull is something which when you don't have a body, so it also means that you're gonna get detached from your bodily senses and only attached with the nourishment of soul. So all of these are the inner signs on when she uses cloud. It's a more a sign of remover of old karmic seeds and patterns, which is causing us pain in this life. And skull represents transcendence. Okay, it's gonna give us freedom from fear of death, or fear of nourishing the body, or attachment towards nourishing the body while discarding our soul growth. And then Vame Tarabhya Musaleshtadaucha. So with her in her left hand, she's gonna have a pestle and mace. Mace is like a club which has little more sparky things on the gada kind of a thing, which Bhima and all the other gods use. Hanumanji also had a gada. So along with it, pestle is something you do to crush something, grind something. So she grinds our negativity and enemies. And with the mace, she's gonna provide us with a spiritual strength and divine authority. So when we are having authority, sometimes it means what? She's gonna bestow confidence to us, courage to us in things which we get stopped. We are not able to go past. If there are enemies who are gonna who's binding us or who is obstacle providing obstacles, she's gonna grind them like how we use a puzzle to grind certain things. So it's like she's not only gonna be a protective force, but also she's gonna be the force behind you to fight your inner demons. And the battles that you are due to fight, but been waiting because of your goodness of heart, thinking all right, or because of your old samskaras. But there is a time for everything. Even Shishupala has, Krishna ji has given 100 mistakes boon. So when the time is right, we need to act upon certain things to get to the state where we are, which is again not taking actions from our ego driven self, but also from the pure divine driven selves. Raktambaram, Raktapatottariyam. So she's using red. Rakta is black, but the color that they're showing is she's using red garments like sari, which has the shift movement kind of thing. The 9 yard sari we wear, that kind of where she's wearing, so that she provides her to swiftly move across. And what is the sign of red? In this Dhyana Sloka, she is appearing to be wearing red sari, which is a divine Shakti strength. No, red is a sign of power, vitality, and action. So she's gonna act upon what we request. Pravala Karna Bharanam Trinetram. So she is having 3 eyes, Trinetram, and in her ears, she's wearing a red coral kind of uh, earrings. So again, coral is a sign of purity, a sign of perhaps divine innocence and protection. Okay, when you have coral has to come, it has to be totally protected. Only then it comes, and then perseverance. You know? So all of this is what she's gonna give us. Like she's gonna return us our divine innocence. She's gonna purify us. She's gonna make us perceive towards our goals and actions, and she's gonna protect us from dangers so that our purity is intact with her 3 eyes, which is not just what we as a person can see, but also from her Divya Drishti, she's gonna also link up all our past baggages and connect the dots and give us the guidance which is best for us, in the process making us more um divine self. Isn't it so? When she is there, we feel like, what is there for me to fear? Mother is there. That kind of strength will come. Syamam samastha barana sragadhyam. Syamam samastha barana sagadhyam. Meaning, Syamam, she is dark complexioned, you know, like a hueish, bluish, dark bluish, hueish color. And she's with divine ornaments. She's putting a lot of ornaments and a garland. Okay, so what is the meaning of that darkness is when you are in a mother's womb, you are, you're surrounded by dark. And that is a place where um everything dissolves and evolves, isn't it? So she is the void also, and she is the source of light also. So she dissolves certain things and she gives us light of abundance. So the complexion is a representation of Mahasumyam, which dissolves everything and then reborn something. What dissolves is your spiritual ego, your karmic wounds and garbage, and what gets reborn is your diamond self, your purity self. So that's what is the sort of hidden meaning of this Dhyana Sloka. So now, so Varahi Sanyam Rankosmi Nityam. So to such Varahi, I am going down every day. So that is the meaning of this Dhyana Sloka.